Welcome to the Real Comic Heroes Podcast. Your adventure into the world of comic book movies starts here.
Greetings, citizens, and welcome to another adventure of the Real Comic Heroes Podcast. I'm Travis,
And I'm Patrick, back for some character reviews.
as always.
Yeah, I need a palate cleanser after Vampirella.
Absolutely.
She's not one of the characters, is she?
Oh, I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, we're gonna do a couple more characters. Last time we had Rick Grimes from The Walking Dead, Deadpool, Wildcat, and Jean Grey. So let's see
Yeah.
what's in store for us today.
Not much left.
Not too many. So it looks like the first one up is number 69.
The most mature number.
Number 69 is okay, Scott Pilgrim.
Oh, okay then.
Yeah.
Really?
First appearance, Scott Pilgrim, Volume 1, July of 2004. Another one that doesn't have a super long history, but
Yeah, so it wasn't out long before the movie.
hey, what was that? Like 2011, maybe?
Maybe, yeah.
Somewhere in there. That's really my only history with Scott Pilgrim is seeing the movie. And
Yeah.
I only saw the movie because we came into like free tickets for a almost like the preview screening, like the Wednesday before it opens on a Friday or whatever, or a couple days before. So
Oh, yeah.
kind of went into it just with no real knowledge of Scott Pilgrim. I knew it was a comic book, but I had never read it, and so I wasn't following the movie production in any way. So, yeah, I went in with zero expectations and came out completely satisfied. So,
Yeah, I liked it a lot.
yeah, it's
It's
not one that I've revisited much.
I've rewatched it probably at least once this year so far.
Okay, I've probably only
Um,
watched it a handful of times, really, maybe three or four.
okay,
I own
yeah.
it. I've got it on Blu-ray.
Blu-ray.
Yeah, I might have a digital version
Physical
of it,
media. Okay,
which
Grandpa.
oh, trust me, I'm very much into the digital media side of things. I would never put in a Blu-ray at this point
So
or a
much work.
DVD. I know, but when we got rid of all of our DVDs and stuff, and I think we kept most of the Blu-rays,
Oh,
but
okay.
it's not like they're in a binder somewhere. But
Gotcha.
yeah, Scott Pilgrim says Scott Pilgrim is a hero after every gaming geek's heart. He'd just as soon spend his days playing old NES games and dreaming up new songs for his band Sex Bob-omb. But Scott embarked on a path to destiny the day he met Ramona Flowers. Ba-da-da-da.
Is this just like a one arc series? Like,
I don't think so.
no?
It may even still be going. I have no idea. Let me look.
I mean, it
I'm
seemed like a pretty, linear path, and he
right.
finished his mission and got through all the boyfriends.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I just never thought of him as like, in the sense of a comic book, I think, because it was almost like a meta, like, look at the culture at large, not
Okay. Yeah.
necessarily that he had like superpowers
Yeah.
or
I don't.
anything like
Yeah. He's
that.
not a superhero,
Yeah.
to my knowledge.
Although I guess he does have fighting skills to an
Sure.
extent. I don't know. It was always confusing. I couldn't tell if it was like this was what was going on inside his head
Oh.
versus actually taking place in reality.
Okay. Yeah. Um. It looks like I just typed in Scott Pilgrim comic and found on Goodreads.com it lists 6 volume Scott Pilgrim series from 2004 to 2010. So I'm
Okay,
guessing
so
that was like a complete run, and maybe they've done more like since then as far.
yeah, 'cause it looks like
But
the movie came out in 2010.
okay. Hmm,
So
interesting.
that's where the movie came out, right when the book was ending.
Yeah, and I think the books, think, are kind of modeled after like manga as far as
Oh,
like
okay.
the size and shape of the actual books. I don't think they come out in comic book issues like the standard.
Hmm.
I think they're more uh, books like the manga stuff is.
Gotcha.
Think, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, I mean, he's a gross character for
Yeah,
sure. Uh,
yeah, the movie definitely, and I think the movie does a decent job of painting him as kind of the idiot. Like, it's not making him always like the hero who, it shows like, yeah, he treats knives like dirt.
and let's not forget she's still in high school,
Oh yeah.
and I don't know. That's always like maybe it wouldn't have creeped me out if I saw it as a high schooler, but
Hmm.
as a grown person, I find it creepy and gross.
Yeah,
And
I forgot about that.
yeah, it's like the part that I hate the most. I'm like, why? And I get, they call him out on being creepy and gross too,
Yeah.
but it's still ew. Yeah, and I just picture like everyone knew that girl that was with an older guy that was like not in
Sure.
school anymore, or
Right.
and you're always like, oh, okay, dude. It's like that really old guy at the party, like,
Yeah.
and that's I guess what they were going for with him, but yeah, I don't know. Never really dug that. And I never got the vibe from the movie anyway that he was a big video game person other than playing Dance Dance Revolution.
Yeah, I don't know that they show him physically playing
It's
many
more about the
games.
band, I think, in the movie.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously the fight scenes are very video game
Right.
oriented, but we don't actually see him playing anything other than Dance Dance Revolution, I think.
Yeah. Hmm.
So that's interesting. But yeah, I mean, it's a fun movie.
Oh yeah,
It's
yeah. I really like that movie,
probably
but
like some of the best cameos in a movie.
well, Chris Evans' part in that movie is so great.
See, I'm
Um,
more of a was it Brandon Roth?
yeah,
He's
yeah.
my guy in that movie.
Okay.
Just his vegan powers.
Yeah. I love that bass battle.
Yeah.
I actually have the I think there's two scores for that movie. There's a score and a soundtrack for it, but the bass battle one is one that comes on my score playlist, like shuffle quite often. So yeah, and I mean the movie's directed by Edgar Wright, so he's
Yeah.
definitely done a lot of fun stuff.
I mean, it's just got so many people in it.
Yeah, I love the song by Brie Larson in the movie.
Oh, yeah.
It's a metric song. What's the song? I listen to it every now and then. Like you can find it on YouTube. But I can't think of the name of the song. But yeah, there are a bunch of good cameos in that movie.
I mean, what his sister is Anna Kendrick.
Yeah. Got
And
Aubrey Plaza.
yeah,
Uh,
got Kieran Culkin,
yeah,
who's had like a resurgence
sure.
recently with what was he on?
Succession?
Succession, yeah.
Yeah.
I can never remember if it's Succession or Billions. I
Oh,
get
right.
confused the two all the time for some reason.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, awesome movie. Don't really know the comic, so
Same. Yeah. Yeah. So moving on.
yeah.
All right. Well, it's finally time for number 100.
Oh god, Vampirella.
Oh, how great would that be? Number 100. This will be a quick one. Groo. Groo. And I think that's the name of the Steve Carell character from the Despicable Me, but it's not that
Yeah,
guy.
that's what I immediately thought of, but I knew it
Um,
wasn't.
Groo is a character I only know by like visually. I've seen him a bunch. I don't know anything about him really. I think he's a cartoonish take on Conan the Barbarian, kind of.
Oh, okay.
His first appearance is Destroyer Duck #1 from February of 1982.
And of course, it's the 80s.
Yeah. It says barbarians don't always have to be about bloodshed and wenches. Gru is a comedy fan's answer to Conan. Okay. So he's skilled with a blade, but somewhat lacking in brains. While he may not be the brightest bulb on the battlefield, Gru is an earnest and kind-hearted adventurer. And that's what made Sergio Aragone's signature creation so enduringly popular. So,
Really?
yeah.
Never heard of it.
I think if you grew up or you probably grew up in the 70s and were buying comics in the 80s, I think Gru is like, this is your comedy fan, comic.
So, like I'm trying to think of a comparison. Ooh, I can dust this one off. It's much like Dark Helmet to Lord Vader.
Sure.
It's the comedic answer to Darth Vader is Dark Helmet.
Yeah, yeah.
So they're just making a goof. Well, were the Conan movies? Those were coming out around that time too.
Yeah. Uh, the first one, I think the first one might have been 81,
Yeah,
and I think uh, the Destroyer was 84,
yeah,
but
okay.
Conan existed as a comic in the
Yeah.
70s. So that's probably more of a comic homage, I guess.
Okay.
But
Yeah, never heard of it.
yeah.
Honestly, wouldn't have been surprised if it was like Groot's younger brother, or a guy that grew a lot,
Yeah.
or you know.
You might recognize Sergio Aragone's like cartoon style. I think his art style is very I think familiar. Maybe not, but
So he's basically a funny barbarian.
seems that way. Yeah, probably gets into wacky adventures and I don't know. Yeah, I really know nothing about the character other than he's a Conan type kind of knockoff or spoof or
Okay, I
yeah.
looked up some covers and it looks nothing like I was anticipating.
Okay.
It's so weird.
I like he's got big arms and like these tiny, tiny
Tiny,
little skinny legs.
yeah, and a giant nose that
Yeah.
and tiny head, big jaw. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that looks like honestly, it looks like a Sunday comic strip.
Kind of. Yeah.
That's what the
Yeah.
art reminds me of. Like you could have told me that this was a comic strip from the Sunday paper, and I would be like,
Sure.
yeah, okay. Yeah, that would definitely not be for me. I'm good.
Yeah.
All right, number 100 did not disappoint.
Yeah. At least it wasn't Vampirella.
That's true.
So moving on to number 81.
Ooh, staying down in the basement.
Yeah. Black Canary.
Okay.
So DC character, Justice League. Uh,
Screams a lot.
yeah. Yeah. First appearance, Flash Comics number 86, August of 1947. So it's
Wow.
another. And a lot of those DC characters, they go way back.
Yeah.
They really created some long-lasting characters over in DC. So,
Or they just created a bunch and ran out of juice, and
I
that's all
mean,
they have left.
I've been going through a lot of the Marvel stuff,
Yeah.
and aside from Namor, Human Torch, well, not even Human Torch didn't really stick around that much. Captain America, like most of the characters that they created didn't stick around, but
Yeah.
in comparison, like DC was just cranking out stuff that has lasted a long time.
Yeah, I
But
never think of Black Canary as a standalone.
yeah, she's usually teamed up with Green Arrow
Hmm.
a lot, Birds of Prey, groups like that. Yeah.
So yeah, I know she's got like supersonic voice, for lack of a
Yeah.
better way of putting it, and can fight.
Yeah. Well, exactly. Yeah. This says Black Canary is one of the founding members of the Justice League and an expert martial artist with a
Okay,
supersonic scream.
there we go.
The Canary Cry. Oof. This next line doesn't hold up. The Canary Cry that puts to shame anything your wife can throw your way for forgetting to take out the trash. So way to go,
uh,
IGN. This Black Canary has even acted as chairwoman of the JLA and leader of the Birds of Prey. Yeah.
Wait, was Black Canary in the Birds of Prey movie?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Played by what's her name? Journey Smollett, something like that. But yeah, she was in it. She was kind of your main character that wasn't Harley Quinn.
Huh. I remembered Rosie Perez
Yeah.
and Harley Quinn. Oh wait, was she the one that was like working for the bad guy?
Yeah. Yeah. That's her.
Okay.
Yep. I
Yeah.
forget. May have had like amnesia kind of thing or forgot her
Yeah.
past or something like that, I think.
I just don't remember her yelling a lot. So
I think
I think
I think
that's
she didn't realize she had the power until like the third act.
okay.
So
Maybe that's
I
it.
feel like it's something that was a slow build, and then once she finally realized who she was or something like that. So,
Gotcha.
but I
Okay.
like that version. I like that movie. It was pretty fun. The only other there have been a few Black Canary versions I've seen. Trying to think which ones. There's the Legends of Tomorrow, and I'm getting
Oh,
confused
yeah.
on because her name is Dinah Lance, but then I know Arrow introduced a sister, and one of them died, and then the other became Black Canary, and then the other one came back to life. But so I can't remember Laura Lance. Is that what one of them was named? I don't know. So I can't remember which version, which character in that show was Black Canary, but and then I know Smallville must have done a Black Canary,
No, I'm sure.
episode or two. Yeah, I can kind of picture short hair, real short hair, I think, and lots of like, her costume's always typically been like fishnet leggings and a leather jacket, kind of
Hmm.
a lot of black.
I think trying to think here. I've seen her video game represented in the
Oh,
Injustice
okay.
series,
Yeah.
and I think in that she's like married to Green Arrow, maybe.
Probably. They've kind of been a couple or
Yeah.
a partnership with those two for,
Okay.
decades.
Gotcha.
Yeah, they're generally those two are very closely associated with each other.
Okay. I so bad wanted to say Hawkeye. I always confuse the two.
Mm,
Bow and arrow guys.
yeah.
They all look alike.
Trying to remember, I can't think of any standout Black Canary comics I've ever read or like her in any other books. Maybe when I'm trying to remember if she was involved in the Death of Superman book. Because I can't remember who was on that team. I For some reason I'm picturing her, but that
Yeah, imagine
that version of the Justice League. But
she could hurt Superman with that. I mean, he's got sensitive ears.
yeah, I wonder.
Unless he can like close his ear canal.
Yeah, no,
I
that, huh? Supersonics would make sense to be a,
don't think I've ever seen it happen to him, but
yeah.
I don't see why it wouldn't happen to him.
Hmm.
Because I mean, obviously he can control the sensitivity to an extent.
Yeah.
Otherwise, or maybe he could just focus. I don't know how. They always make it look like he's focusing when he's
Right.
trying to ring in the voices. That then makes it seems like he can crank the volume down or the sensitivity down,
Right.
perhaps. But
Hmm.
I don't know if he can completely shut it off because
Sure.
I don't think there's much you can do with a supersonic blast to your eardrums. He'd at least have a really bad headache.
Yeah.
I don't know. I
Um.
always thought like sound was a cool weapon,
Sure.
especially if you don't have to rely on like a machine or some
Hmm.
kind of device.
Yeah. Yeah. I can't think of anyone else. There's a Marvel character, and I want to say her name is Mockingbird.
Okay.
That I think has a similar-ish set of powers.
There's got to be like a banshee.
Oh, of course, Banshee. Yeah.
Okay.
X-Men character, and then he has a niece. Her name's Siren, and she also has
Okay.
this kind of the same power. But yeah, of
Yeah, I was
course,
gonna
yeah,
say there's got to be somebody named
yeah,
Banshee.
yeah.
It's like they dip into lore all the time with
Uh
like
huh.
folklores and stuff. So hey, look at me pulling something out of nowhere.
No.
Yeah, I don't really have much else for her.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't either. I've enjoyed her for the most part as a character that pops up every now and then, but I'm so detached from watching any of the DC shows really, except for like Peacemaker and Doom Patrol. But yeah, but I'm glad you brought up Birds of Prey. I kind of forgot about that movie and that she was in it for a minute, but she was kind of the one of the better parts of that movie. So,
Yeah, I saw a part of the movie. I didn't see the whole thing
okay.
because it was on like TV,
Oh, sure.
so it probably wasn't a good or fair representation of the movie since it was like TBS or something.
Maybe. Oh, wow. It's already out on like cable. Oh,
Well, it was like on demand through
okay.
TBS, so I'm
Sure.
assuming it is
Huh. I guess that makes sense. I guess it's been out long enough, but
because it's been out. That came out in 2020. Yeah,
oh, okay. Yeah.
so not surprising. All right. Well, let's see. We've 3 for 3. Oh no, 2 for 3. I forgot. Groo.
Yeah.
So one more. Let's make it a 3 for 4.
Yeah. Next one, number 66.
I got a chance.
Okay, Invisible Woman, Sue
Uh,
Storm, Invisible
Okay, so that's
Girl.
Sue
Yeah,
Storm. Okay.
yeah.
I was like, there's probably like a few invisible people. I don't know. Okay.
And no surprise, first appearance, Fantastic Four, number 1, November of 1961.
What is. I remember talking about her before and trying to figure out her power set. I know she's invisible because she can bend light or something.
I don't know if that's I'm not sure of the like scientific reason, but yeah, she can turn invisible. She
And
can make
then.
other things turn invisible.
Okay, yeah.
She can create force fields
Hmm.
around, invisible force fields around herself, around other things. She can create tiny, I mean, essentially little bubbles, but they are like force fields. So she could put a little air bubble inside your brain and expand it. So she is one of the most powerful characters, really, in Marvel comics, and especially on the Fantastic Four. She's pretty awesome, really. She's not always been depicted the best.
I've never seen a badass version of her
Okay,
in
yeah,
outside of comics, perhaps.
yeah. You've really got to. The comics, I think, do a pretty good job of making her, or, really showcasing what she can do and just how strong she is as a character. I
Yeah,
mean,
the
not going back to the '60s was very, I've said it before. I mean, Stan could not write women. She was either more concerned about what her like keeping up with the latest hairstyle trends or what dress she was going to go shopping for, things like that. She was very concerned with, while Reed and the boys would either go on an adventure or whatever. And she was, either captured by Namor because he was infatuated with her, or she'd be captured by Doctor Doom because, damsel in distress sort of thing. Like he needed a something for the other three to bait, essentially.
yeah.
Yeah, so the early stuff is not great with her, but yeah, I think she becomes a really, pun intended, like fantastic character.
Yeah, I wasn't a big fan of her depiction in that unreleased,
Yeah,
where she's like a kid
yeah, yeah.
and has a crush on him, and then
Yeah, she's a little bit forgettable in that movie. The Jessica Alba version, those two movies. She's not the worst part of those movies. I actually have fun with those movies. I recently, or I guess last year, rewatched them both.
yeah, I haven't seen them probably since they came out.
Yeah, I had fun with them, but she's not the problem with those.
And I remember there was another Fantastic
Yeah.
Four that bombed hard that I haven't seen. I don't know if that Sue Storm was any better.
I mean, not really.
Uh,
She was. I don't remember any standouts from that movie really, other than they got a really decent looking thing. Everything else was. Michael B. Jordan as Johnny Storm was pretty good. I had no complaints there, but no, as a whole, that movie's pretty forgettable. But yeah, Invisible Woman is pretty cool.
so is she? I'm trying to remember how this goes. I thought she was the sister of Johnny Storm,
Yes,
and then married to what
Reed.
Stretchy McStretcherson. I forget
Yeah,
his name now. Reed
yeah, Reed.
Richards.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And then okay, I think that unreleased movie really screwed me up with them being like in a foster home of sorts or something.
Um, what
Or
was I feel like their mother ran a just a or like I mean, essentially Reed rented a room there. Like yeah, I mean it was just a
it's a different time.
yeah, uh
Yeah, I was just trying to piece together the Fantastic Four relationship.
yeah. And then Ben and Reed just went back to like they were college buddies.
Yeah.
So he was essentially the brother uncle sort of Reed
Yeah,
and Sue, would eventually have 2 kids, Franklin and what is her name? It's gonna drive me nuts. I better.
yeah. I think I always just saw her as like more of a uh, stealthy protection kind of superhero. I never thought of her as an offensive
Mm,
kind of superhero, like just based on her powers, being invisible and shielding. I
yeah.
never knew about the whole burst your brain with a bubble
Oh, sure.
option.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's interesting.
It's like Valeria. Now it's coming. I think it's Valeria Richards. I can't remember
Okay.
like where that comes from. There's some reason for it to be Valeria. I'm pretty sure
Valeria.
that's it.
Sounds like a planet in a sci-fi movie. Planet
Valeria.
Valeria.
Valeria, Fantastic Four. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, again, I feel like it's another side character in a group. Like, I
How
don't think
so?
there are there any like Sue Storm books, like just her.
Oh, I don't know that she's ever had her own like Invisible Woman
Hmm.
comic, or probably not, but really most of them haven't. Human Torch had a real short-lived comic series in the early 2000s. I think the Thing has had a mini series or two maybe, but I don't think Mr. Fantastic has. I doubt she has either. Most of the Fantastic Four, yeah, they really just work
'Cause
best together.
yeah, they're always together, even if they're with, say, joining up with the X-Men or something. Or
Yeah, yeah, I can think of at one point I was reading a little bit of Fantastic Four in the kind of early mid 2000s, and Reed and Sue weren't even in the book. They were kind of like off on an adventure or kind of just exploring the galaxy together, and maybe with I think it was the four of them, like Reed and Sue and then their kids.
gotcha.
And so the four members of the Fantastic Four were you know Thing and Human Torch, and then Black Panther and Storm from the X-Men. Like they were, because those two were married I think at the time, and so it was, yeah, Panther and Storm and Ben and Johnny. But
Okay. Yeah, I think what was it? I saw something, and I assume it's because of the upcoming Doctor Strange uh, multiverse thing.
sure.
But they talked about some kind of Illuminati that had Reed
Oh yeah,
Richards as part of that group.
yeah.
So I didn't know if she was part of that or if it was just him solo.
She'd be well. The problem is, I think if she was part of the Illuminati, she'd tell them all just to knock it off. And the
Yeah, I have no
Illuminati is a
context of what the Illuminati is in this. So
so it's. I mean,
is it all the smart people that are?
basically, it's everyone in the Marvel universe who's like agrees that they should be the ones in charge,
Yeah,
pulling the strings,
figured.
making little course corrections, not like big, well, definitely some big major things, but just kind of the secret, the cabal of like the first lineup of the Illuminati that I can think of is Tony Stark, Reed Richards, Professor X,
Hmm.
maybe Doctor Strange. Yeah, definitely Doctor Strange. Who am I missing? Maybe Namor. I don't can't remember if he was in it at that point. It's like, so basically kind of the top, the most brilliant people, the most powerful people. They're the ones that basically said, the Hulk, yeah, he's too dangerous to leave running around. Let's put him in a rocket ship. Let's send him to this nice peaceful planet that we
That's right.
found. It's
That's right.
very peaceful there. He'll live out his days. He won't get angry. And of course, that
Whoops.
goes wrong, and he goes to a gladiator planet, and we get
It all works out.
World War Hulk. So then I know that there's another. Oh, Black Bolt of the Inhumans was also on that.
Yeah,
I
don't know
mean,
that one.
yeah. Then I know that there's a version of the Illuminati that is, I think, Doctor Doom, Namor, Emma Frost, and then
Oh,
I think still maybe still Tony Stark. I mean, so it's kind of like the lineup is kind of changed. It's not like they're a team of superheroes, but it's just still like the whoever's kind of in charge in whichever era of Marvel. So
Gotcha.
just kind of
Okay.
the big heavy hitters that are kind of ruling the world at the time. Usually not for like evil purposes. It's just they just want to make sure like things don't get crazy. I don't know. It's an excuse to
Interesting.
make a bunch of people make bad decisions like World
Yeah.
War Hulk. That's why I think like if Sue Storm were a part of it, she would just tell people to quit trying to have like a dick measuring contest and you know. So,
All right. So that. All right. That was 3 for 4 this round. Not bad.
yeah.
Um.
We have Scott Pilgrim, Groo, Black Canary, and Invisible Woman. That's a
Yeah.
pretty interesting little lineup.
Yeah. All right.
We want to call it there.
Yeah.
All right.
I did have something to recommend this time around.
Okay. Hit me.
It's delving into deep nerdum,
Uh-huh.
a section of nerdum that I have not yet dwelled.
Okay.
It is the world of Dungeons and Dragons
Oh.
and the uh, Amazon show The Legend of Vox Machina.
Okay. I've heard that name. I know nothing
It's
about it.
it's based off of a group of character actors or not voice actors.
Okay.
I don't know if you've heard of Matt Mercer,
Don't think
um,
so.
but everyone's been like in a million things as voice actors, and
Yeah.
they, I guess, streamed and have a YouTube channel of their D&D campaigns.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know. I watched the show and wanted to know more and fell into a rabbit hole.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed it. It's definitely Dungeons and Dragons, so you got literal Dungeons and Dragons.
Sure.
Um, but the animation's kind of fun. It's more adult oriented, like Invincible, but not
Okay.
as gory.
Sure.
There's some gore, but not nearly as much.
Gotcha.
And I'm a big fan of the Bard.
Okay.
He's got a lot of fun. He's like the comic relief,
Hmm.
and I'm glad they use him sparingly because he could get real annoying real quick.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I enjoyed it. It's like
So that was
12
on
episodes on Amazon.
Amazon. Okay.
Yeah.
Right on.
So yeah, I'd recommend that.
Cool. We've been in a huge Star Trek kick lately.
Hmm.
We did how do we well I talked about it before. We did like Next Generation and then we did Deep Space Nine
Hmm.
and then we watched season 1 of Picard.
Oh yeah.
Really enjoyed that. And then years ago we watched the first season of Star Trek Discovery when it like first aired
Hmm.
and never started the second season. So lately we've been going back. We're rewatching Discovery season 1 and really enjoying it. So I'm looking forward to finishing or continuing with Discovery. And then I don't know if we'll do probably wait for Picard season 2 maybe to wrap up. I don't think we're going to try and do those like episode by episode,
Okay.
but yeah, we've been in a big Star Trek phase, so which is appropriate because we've got our
What's
next movie
coming
is
up?
First Contact. So
Yeah, I don't know what it is about Star Trek. I have just not been able to get into it.
yeah, I
I,
really have the last couple of years. I think it may just come with getting older. Star Trek appeals more.
I think
I
there's
just
just so much. It's
yeah
like
yeah
I equate it to like trying to get into an anime that's been around for a while that's got
okay
like 1,000 episodes. It's
yeah
like I'm good.
yeah
But that's cool.
yeah
Um, isn't there an animated Star Trek
yeah
on?
lower decks.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, we haven't checked that out yet either.
Okay.
But
I
then
know.
they've got a new show coming out called Strange Worlds or Strange New Worlds.
Okay.
So it's going to be focus on Captain Pike, who is Kirk's predecessor.
Okay.
So I think it'll be like the probably focusing on the crew just prior to the crew of the Enterprise, but just before Kirk and Spock and
I think that
all of
just
those.
yeah, I always thought and I probably am like way yeah, I'm way off cuz I think it's because it's called Next Generation. I always
Yeah.
thought Picard was the predecessor to Captain Kirk.
Oh,
And in my mind, even though it's like huge gap between the two.
Yeah.
But in my mind, I was like, "Oh, Next Generation." So this is the next crew that took over.
Oh,
Even though I know that now that it's not the case, but forever that's going to be stuck in my head as next up is Picard after Kirk.
oh, like yeah, like immediately after. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, Next Generation is not a great title. Like
No.
it only makes sense if you think about it as this is the next cast of characters that we're going to focus on.
Yeah.
Not it has nothing to do with like adventures in space, Starfleet, explorers, that kind of thing. Next Generation.
Yeah.
It really only applies to the fact that there was a earlier show. So
Yeah. I mean, you might as well just call it Star Trek, or not your grandpa's Star Trek or something.
yeah,
Like, it's weird, but
yeah,
okay.
yeah. I suppose that'll probably do it then.
Yeah.
Cool. Nice quick one for you. We've got 7 more characters. So probably 2 more of these episodes. But yeah, I think that'll do it for this one. And yeah, we'll be back in like 2 weeks for Star Trek First Contact. Until then, stay safe out there, citizens.
Thanks for listening to the podcast. Find the show on Facebook and Twitter at Real Comic Heroes. All music and audio are the property of their respective creators.